July 15th, 2022, and the saga of the mortgage world continues. We've seen a lot of drama over the last couple of weeks, and it is nowhere near over. So let me catch you up on what's going on with the markets and what you need to know to be successful in home ownership. And if you're looking to buy a home, guiding you through these challenging markets. So first and foremost, inflation continues to be a bigger and bigger problem. The reality is inflation is misunderstood on the calculation. And a lot of people are saying, hey, I think that inflation is going to come in at this number or that number. And the fact is, inflation is simply how much goods have increased from last month to this month, the price of those goods, and adding up those increases for the last 12 months. So when we add August's number, the increase from July to August, they get rid of the number from July to August of last year. Well, guess what? The increase in June, July, and August of 2021 was super small. Therefore, when we get rid of a really small number, even if the increase in 2022 is pretty small, if it's any bigger than the tiny increase from last year, we got rid of a super small number and replace it with a medium number, that's going to make inflation look bigger. It doesn't mean the problem's getting worse. Here's why I say all of that. We saw a huge inflation number, 9.2% increase in the cost of goods total over the last 12 months. That was a shock. We were at 8.7% last month in May. I know we're in July, but it was June's number that was just reported last week. In June, May's number was reported. The bottom line is that, yes, it's a big deal. Yes, we're all feeling pain, but the mortgage market, the mortgage rates have responded to the inflation that has been happening, but more importantly, to the prediction of how much inflation is going to continue going up. And we're seeing positive signs there. We're seeing the Federal Reserve fully committed to a 0.75% rate increase. They have their next meeting on July 26th, and on Wednesday, the 27th, they're going to announce the next rate increase. Remember, though, they can choose any number they want. 0.75% is what they did in June. There's some people that are now banking on it being a 1% increase in July. Not sure if they're willing to commit to doing that, but the truth is, remember, the Fed raising short-term rates is actually what we need as the cure to inflation. And as the Fed raises short-term rates faster, it actually will bring mortgage rates down. And a great example of that was Wednesday. On Wednesday, the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index, in other words, the inflation number, was published. And it was bigger than anybody had expected, the biggest we had seen since the 1970s. And everybody thought, okay, mortgage rates are going to skyrocket. They didn't. They stayed the same on Wednesday. And the reason that they stayed the same is because that high inflation number proved that the Fed is going to have to continue to raise interest rates, which is ultimately going to slow down the economy, put us in a recession. I know it sounds backwards, but trust me, we're seeing the result. Because in June, when we had the 8.7% increase published for May's CPI, for May's inflation, that created a big bump in interest rates. We had a bigger inflation number for July, published in July, a couple days ago, and we had no rise in interest rates. So inflation does cause mortgage rates to go up, but the inflation number is already built into the market's expectations. This is actually good news. I know I've rambled a little bit. I'm usually more concise on this, but the fact is it's super, super good news. I still think we're going to see better interest rates in 12 to 24 months. But I need to remind you, if you are one of two categories, people with a small down payment, less than 20% down, or people who have a home to sell in order to buy another home, you cannot wait until rates drop. Because when rates fall, we're going to see all the buyers coming back in, and there's not enough inventory, which means demand is going to skyrocket. And the people with small amounts for down payment won't be able to get seller credits, won't be able to waive their appraisal contingency, which was a major requirement for the last 2 years. And it's been almost impossible for anybody who had to sell a home and buy a home at the same time to get a contingent offer accepted in the last 2 years. I implore you, do not wait until interest rates come back down before you make that purchase, especially if you're in one of those two categories. But I wholly expect we're going to see home prices increase when the demand comes back and we have lower interest rates. I also want to remind you of a couple of videos that I published this week. Mortgage Meltdown 3.0. I went into this one in detail. There's a lot of mortgage companies that are folding. and you need to pay attention to why and what's happening. So watch that video. It's a long one, but it's a lot of detail, and it's critical, especially if you're in the industry or if you're thinking about buying a home, to understand what's happening. I also created a video about the emotions that go along with buying a home, and really, why is buying a home so stressful? I don't think we address that kind of stuff enough. And so I've put out a video this week that really covers for you, whether you're a home buyer or a realtor, share this with everybody that you know so that they understand what they're feeling is normal, and that these emotions that we go through when buying a home, that's part of the process. I really appreciate you trusting me. Don't forget to watch my Financial Fridays. I've got a new series coming up in Financial Fridays, which is financial lessons we should have learned in school. So check it out. I'm going to teach you basic stuff about car buying, financing, about taxes, about banking, all the credit and how to build credit, all these things that you should have been taught in school. I'm going to teach you now. And it's great information, whether you're school age or whether you're just school age at heart. You need to have these lessons so that you understand how the basics of these things work to be able to build a successful financial life. Thanks so much. Don't forget to like and share my YouTube channel, and have a great week. Talk to you soon.